Welcome to another session of All Force e-learning program. Right? Today we shall talk about, in this session we'll talk about the applications of the force on a charge due to multiple charges. Force on a charge due to multiple charges, many charges together within the vicinity. So before going to this, just have a preview. We have studied in the previous session that the resultant force, according to the principle of superposition, the resultant force acting on any particle, it is the vector sum of all the forces acting on the particle, considering all the forces simultaneously. So therefore, the resultant force Fr bar is Fn bar plus F2 bar plus F3 bar Fn bar. Applying this principle of superposition, let us now consider the various applications of these forces there. Right? First, consider two charges. Let's say charge Q1 and charge Q2, separated by a distance d. Now the force between them F. Force on the second charge due to first charge, it's K, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by d square. Right? When these two are existing like this. Suppose if I place a third charge at the midpoint, right? At the midpoint like this, then so this is positive, let us consider even this as a positive charge. Then so initially when this was not existing, the force between these two was just one single force, that is F, that is force on the second due to the first one. So that is, it is 1 by 4 not Q1 Q2 by d square. Now when I place the third charge, even this charge also apply force on it. I have considered a like charge plus. So plus repels plus, repulsive force. So even this also repels this. Let us say this is third charge Q3. So now force on the first charge due to, this is second charge. Force on the second charge due to third, it is F23 bar. F23, force on the second due to third charge. So this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught charges these two. Force on the second due to the third charge. So that is Q2 Q3 by, now the distance between them, I said I am placing at the midpoint. Then this distance is d by 2. Half the distance d by 2. So therefore, now force due to third charge on the second. Force on the second due to third charge. This is 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q2 Q3 by the distance between is d by 2. It's d by 2 whole square. So this, if I simplify, it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 Q3 by d square by 2 square 4 will go up into 4. Now according to the principle of superposition, the resultant force on any charge is equal to the vector sum of all the forces acting on the charge, considering them simultaneously. Now on this charge there are two forces acting and both are in the same direction. According to parallelogram law of vectors, when two vectors, resultant vector r bar is equal to root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So now two vectors are in the same direction. Theta is 0. Cos 0 is 1. Cos 0 1, a square plus b square plus 2ab. So mod r is equal to mod a plus mod b. So the resultant force on this. The total resultant force on the second charge. F, it is equal to the sum of these both. So since both of them are in same direction, just add them. So it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by d square plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 4 times Q2 Q3 by d square. This is the resultant. Now this is, when I consider all the three are like charges, this is the resultant force. Now let's consider if had the third charge been a negative charge, unlike charge minus, then what would be the force acting on the second? So before placing the third charge, the force on the second due to first, force on the second due to first charge, 4F21, 1 by 4 Q1 Q2 by d square, this remains the same. Even in the presence of the third charge, force between first two charges will not change. So this remains as it is. But now, when I consider a negative charge in between, then this is positive and this is negative, unlike attract. So minus attracts this. So it is in this direction. So the force on the second charge due to the third will be in this direction. Now what is the resultant force on the second charge? Resultant force on the second charge is the vector sum of all the forces. Now there are two forces acting on the second charge, both are in opposite direction. According to Paragam law, resultant force is a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Now angle is 180 degrees, cos 180. Cos 180 is minus 1. So it is root of a square plus b square minus 2ab. Then the magnitude of the resultant force is a mod a minus 1. So it is difference in their magnitude. Now if this is unlike charge, then the resultant force on 2, it is force opposite. So it is the opposite force 23 bar minus force 21 bar. This force minus this force, right? So therefore force on the second charge is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Force 23, magnitude of the force on the second due to third, it is 1 by 4. Magnitude remains same because the distance is same, magnitude of charge is same. So it is 4 times q2 q3 by d square minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, this one. It's q1 q2 by d square. So the resultant force, look, because of the change in the nature of charge, the magnitude of the charge has changed. So this way you can find the resultant force acting on any charge due to the number of charges that are placed in its vicinity there. Okay, right. Considering another example. In another example, let there be 3 charges on the vertices of a equilateral triangle. Consider 3 charges on the vertices of a equilateral triangle named as Q1, Q2 and Q3 at the vertices A, B and C. Let's consider all are like charges, plus, plus and plus. Now you are asked to find the resultant force on any one of the charge. If let us take the resultant force on B. So we are asked to find the resultant force on the second charge FB. So F resultant B, we are asked to find the resultant force on this. We will find. Before going to this, let's have a picture diagram regarding this. So 3 charges Q1, Q2 and Q3 on the vertices of the triangle. Let the side of the triangle be A. This is A. Now make out what are all the forces acting on this charge. All the forces due to all the charges around it. First step, consider all the force acting on it. Represent them vectorially. Now second charge is repelled by the first charge. It is positive, even this is also positive, like charge. So first charge repels the second charge. So this is the force on the second due to first. We know according to Coulomb's law the magnitude is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It's Q1 and Q2. So Q1 Q2 by distance square, that is A square, in this direction. This is the direction. Next, there is another charge. So there are 2 more charges other than this. So there will be force due to these 2 charges. Now force due to Q3 on Q2. I have considered even this as positive. All are like charges. So force on the second due to third charge. This is F23. Force on the second due to third charge. Right? So this is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by d square. So charge, product of the charges, that is charges are Q2 and Q3. So it's Q2 Q3 by the distance is A, it is A square. So on the second charge there are now 2 forces, but these 2 forces are not in the same direction. As we have learned in the previous case, they are neither in the same direction or opposite. Now they are at an angle. What is the angle? It is given that it's an equilateral triangle. We know in equilateral triangle the angle between the sides is 60 degrees. All the sides are equal and all angles are equal, it is 60 degrees. And this is a vertically opposite angle, even this will be 60 degrees. Now, there are two forces acting at an angle like this. In first year 11th class we have studied according to parallelogram law of vectors. We know according to parallelogram law of vectors, if any two similar vectors of same physical quantity, if any two similar vectors of same physical quantity are represented as two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, like this, then the diagonal passing through them represents the resultant vector. We know if two vectors are represented as two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, right? Adjacent sides are shown like this, in magnitude and direction, then the diagonal passing through the point of intersection of vector represents the resultant vector both in magnitude and direction. And we have even derived the formula for the magnitude of the force. The magnitude of the force R bar mod R, it is under root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. 2ab cos theta. Now applying that, there are two forces, two similar vectors, right? I can represent them as two adjacent sides of a parallelogram like this. This is one side, adjacent sides of a parallelogram. This is the parallelogram, right? Now the resultant of these both is given by the diagonal passing through the point. So from the point of intersection of vectors, initial point, the diagonal, this is the diagonal. So the resultant force on B, FB, it is the diagonal passing through the point of intersection of forces there. So this resultant, so applying this formula, F bar, the total resultant force on B, the charge at B, magnitude of the resultant force, it is under root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So let's suppose this is A, this is B. Substituting similarly, taking the similarity there, a bar, this is a bar, first vector, so this is f21 mod square, right, mod of f23 vector, force due to third charge square, plus 2 times 2ab, so force 21 mod and mod 23 cos of the angle. The cos of the angle between these two vectors is 60 degrees. So therefore, the resultant force on B is equal to under root of, substituting the magnitudes, and before that itself let us consider, so substituting, first let's substitute, later on we will simplify. Force 21, it's 1 by 4 epsilon q1 q2 by a square, q1 q2 by a square whole square, plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 q3 by a square whole square, plus 2 times of 2ab cos theta. So therefore it is 2 of f, first what, f21, that's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by a square times 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 q3 by a square cos 60 degrees. This is the result. Now in this, let us take up the common things out. So the resultant force, take the common things. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught a square is common. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught a square is common in all. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught a square common. It's under root of q1 q2 whole square plus q2 q3 whole square plus 2 of q1 q2 times q2 q3 into cos 60. We know cos 60 is 1 by 2. So therefore the resultant force is given as, it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught of a square under root, when the charges are of different magnitude, so it's q1 q2 whole square plus q2 q3 whole square plus q1 q2 times q2 q3. This is the resultant force. The magnitude of the resultant force on charge P due to the other two charges. Now this is the resultant force. Now suppose in this problem if he gives, if all the charges are of same magnitude, Q1 is equal to Q2 is equal to Q3 is same, then what would be the force? Then, so applying this here, for this condition, if all these three charges are of same magnitude, then the resultant force is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught a square. It's under root of Q1 Q2. Q1 is Q, Q2 is Q. So Q square. This is Q square. Q2 Q3 same. So it's Q square, right? And right. This is Q1 Q2. Q1 Q2 Q square whole square. Q square whole square. Q1 Q2 Q square. Q1 Q2 Q square. So it's Q square whole square. So therefore, considering, so therefore even Q square is common. If I take Q square common out, so the resultant force is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square common out. It's Q square by a square under root of 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. 1 plus 1 plus 1. So implies 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by a square times root 3. So this is the resultant force on B. So if all the three are like charge, all the three are same magnitude, then the force on any charge at any vertex, the resultant force is given as 1 by 4 naught Q square by a square root 3 times. And we know, according to the Parallelogram law of vectors, if these two vectors are of same magnitude, then the resultant would be, if for this condition, if I consider all the three charges are of same magnitude, then force due to this charge, right, this force, the magnitude will be same as the force due to this charge. So these two charges are of same magnitude. If they are of same magnitude, then the resultant vector is the angular bisector. So the resultant vector is angular bisector in the sense that total angle is 60 degrees. So this will be 30 degrees, this will be 30 degrees. Mind you, if these three charges are of different magnitude, then this force is either nearer to this vector or that to force. Whichever magnitude is more, the resultant force tends to that. But if the three charges are of same magnitude, then the forces will be of same magnitude, then the resultant vector will be the angular bisector of these two. Then the angle will be 30 each. Under this condition, so for this special condition, when all the three charges are of same magnitude, then the resultant force is 1 by 4 pi. So therefore, this force due to these three charges Q, the resultant force is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught root 3 times Q square by a square. Okay? Thank you. Right. Now, considering the same example, but the other way. If I consider three charges on the verts of three verts of a equilateral triangle of side A and A, but this time I am taking unlike charges. Let's suppose this is positive, right? This is also positive, or this is negative charge. This is positive. Let me take this as this is positive, but this is negative. This is minus, and this plus. So one of the charge is minus Q, and let me take this as plus Q, and this is also plus Q, so it will be easy for you to understand, right? Now again we are asked to find what is the resultant force on the charge P. The difference is earlier we have taken all the charges of same nature and same magnitude, 3Q plus all plus. But this time I have taken charge at A as minus Q. Now how does the force affect? Now consider, let all the charges be of same magnitude. Now come on. This is positive charge and this is positive charge. This positive charge repels this charge. So force on B due to C, right? This force on B due to C. That is force on B due to the charge on C. FC, let us say. Force due to the charge on C, FC. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Same magnitude, Q square by A square. Q square, distance is A square. Now both are like charges. Like charges repel, so this charge repels us. Force on B due to C, so FC is like this, direction in this way. Now, what is the force due to the charge on A? Right, charge at A due to charge at A on B. Now both are unlike charges. Unlike charges attract. So this charge attracts this charge. So the force due to the charge at A, Fa on B, B is common. So force due to charge A. So Fa, this is same magnitude, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, it's q square by A square. Right? Now, again these two forces are neither in the same direction nor in opposite direction. Now they are at an angle. This is the angle between the vectors. What is that angle? We know in equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal, all the angles are equal. So this angle is 60 degrees. But you know this is a straight line. If this is a straight line, this total angle is 180 degrees, of which this is 60. So the remaining angle is 120 degrees. So the angle between the forces, this and this, is 120 degrees. If I complete the parallelogram, right? If I complete the parallelogram, this is the parallelogram. According to parallelogram law of vectors, if two vectors are represented as two adjacent sides like this is F and this is F, then this is A and this is B, the resultant is R bar, diagonal, right? So the diagonal, this diagonal represents the resultant. So this is the resultant vector on B. So this is the force due to C, this is the force due to A, force on B due to C, force on B due to A. Now this is the resultant force on B, F. Right? Now, how do you calculate? So according to parallel law of vectors, we know the resultant force Fr is equal to root of the resultant force. So it is F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. But since the magnitude of the force are same, you have learned in your first year, if the magnitudes of the vectors are same, let's say F1 mod F1 bar is equal to mod F2 bar is equal to some F, then the resultant force, magnitude of the resultant force is given as root of F square plus 2 Ff, that is F square cos theta. So the resultant force, magnitude of resultant force is given as under root of F square, it is 2F square plus 2F square cos theta. Take 2F square common. So it's under root of 2F square of 1 plus cos theta. According to trigonometry, we know 1 plus cos theta is equal to 2 cos square theta by 2. Now this is a trigonometric application, you have to remember such applications. So therefore, the resultant force is given as under root of 2F square, substituting 1 plus cos theta here, it's 2 cos square theta by 2. So substituting the resultant force is under root 2, it's 2 square F square cos square theta by 2. So the resultant force magnitude of the resultant force is 2F cos theta by 2. That is, if there are two vectors of same magnitude with the angle theta between them, then the magnitude of resultant force is 2 times the magnitude of either of the vectors, any one, into cos theta by 2. So substituting the same here on charge B, there are two forces, one in this direction and other in this direction, but of same magnitude, 1 by 4 epsilon q square by a square, 1 by 4 epsilon q square by a square. So the resultant force Fb, mod Fb I can write as, applying this, it is 2 times mod magnitude of either of the forces, any of these two, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q square by a square, cos of the angle between the two vectors, cos of the angle by 2, half of the angle. So cos of half of the angle, we have just now proved the angle is 120, so it's 120 by 2. So therefore, magnitude of the force on B is equal to 2 times 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q square by a square cos 60, and this is 2 times 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q square by a square into 1 by 2. So the resultant force on this, so the resultant force on B vector, B charge, it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, it's q square by a square. Now this is the formula. Now based on this, there was a beautiful question that was asked in one of the entrance examination based on these two. Let me let me combine these two questions what we have studied. There are three charges. There are three charges on the vertex of equilateral triangle. Identical charges, point charges on the vertex of equilateral triangle of side A. Let the magnitude of the force between any of the two charges be F. The magnitude of the force between any of the two charges is F. Then what is the resultant force on any of this charge? Let's say charge at B. The resultant force on this charge, mod of this will be dash. If the magnitude of any of the force between two charges, consider these two, magnitude is F, given F, so that's 1 by 4 dot, given the charges are identical QQ, so it's Q square by A square, side A. Given F is the force between any two charges, whether it is these two or these two or these two, magnitude is say 1 by 4 epsilon Q square by A square. Now what would be the resultant force acting on this? Case 1, if all are like charges, plus and plus. We have proved just now that if all the three like charges exist, then the resultant force is root 3 times 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by A square. So 1 by 4 epsilon Q square by A square is F. So its resultant force, in the first case, the resultant force is root 3F. Now second case, right? Second, if one of this force is unlike, like we are calculating the resultant force on B. Resultant force on B we are finding. If one of the other two charges, either of one of them is unlike charge, then what would be the resultant force? Now if one of the charge is unlike, then the resultant force we got, it's 1 by 4 is not same as Q square by A square. So the resultant force on B will be just F. A beautiful comparison between two things. A beautiful comparison between two things. Same problem, for a small change in it, the answer changes this way. If all the three are like charges, then the resultant force magnitude is root 3 times F. If one of them is unlike, then the resultant force is just F. A very beautiful thing to remember. Good.